Was there an 80s version you could have done of that scream? I guess that is the 80s version.
Yeah, there is only one version.
The scream's already 80s, and we're talking Stranger Things on the show today.
People have been waiting for this episode. People want to talk about it.
So welcome to the show after the show, the Fantasy Footballers podcast here. Subscribe on iTunes. Make sure you get up to date with all your fantasy football news and information. We are now at the show after the show, so we're talking about anything and everything, and today it is going to be Stranger Things, the Netflix 8-episode event.
Spoiler alerts. We will be talking in specifics.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, you want to see it, we recommend it. Great show on Netflix. Go check it out. You can come back and watch us later. Or if you don't care, or if you've seen it,
yeah.
welcome to the show.
We just thought it's fun. We did the Game of Thrones stuff when Game of Thrones was going on. We all kind of jumped into Stranger Things, and a bunch of the listeners of the show were watching it as well. I had a friend tell me about it. They were just like, "Oh, you got to check this out. It's really great." And it kind of grabs you right away.
I was actually the first thing I wanted to mention was if the way that it grabs us, because we grew up in the 80s.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate throwback to the 80s, and not in a way of like, hey, you remember this? This was awesome. It was just they have captured what it was like growing up in the 80s, especially with the soundtrack. But so people who, the younger folks who are like, let's say they're in their early 20s, do you think that they are gravitating and latching onto this immediately? I think that the show still holds up, but I don't know if they will get that where it took me about 45 seconds before I'm all in on this show.
I think you're probably right in the sense that when I see a show that's like based in the 70s, I gotta be
some time.
won over by the show. There's no instant connection with it. So yeah, I mean, if the 90s were what you grew up in, then an 80s show is probably not. But I mean, the smoking indoors and the phones on the walls and the cords.
All the dark wood.
Oh,
the bicycles and the
so much wallpaper.
Oh, it's so much wallpaper. I mean, their house in Stranger Things literally looks like my grandparents' cabin. Like they had bought that in the 80s and they did it up with wallpaper everywhere, and it looks the exact same.
The big old banana seats on
wood
the bikes.
paneling. Yeah, I mean, I know I have some friends, early 20s friends that are into the show. I think the show has such a stylized feel to it that I think you see appreciation the way you do for like 8-bit gaming now. Like people didn't grow up playing Nintendo games necessarily in the 20s now, like original Nintendo, but they appreciate the stylized feel of it. So I think some of that's there. The music is
incredible.
Unbelievable.
But really, the thing that gets you are the questions. Like that is the point of when I started watching. It's got that kind of Lost feel to it where there's all this kind of weird stuff, or you might say these stranger things happening, and you go, what in the heck? Like, I remember you were a couple episodes ahead of me, Andy, and my only hope or fear or worry or whatever you want to call it was, do we get answers? Like, I was like, I don't want to watch this show where I'm going to be 4 seasons in going, what in the heck is going on? We still have no clue. Lost. Yeah. But you were like, no, they give you answers, and they do over and over. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that there's something that it captured with when kids know something that's going on and the parents don't know, and they have their group of, with 11 being down in the basement somehow for days without the parents knowing. They're off at, whether it's like the Home Alone feeling or like
it's the Goonies.
Yeah, Goonies is what I think.
Goonies.
E.T.,
Yes.
I got the E.T. vibe
E.T.
so
is
strong.
Yes.
Yeah, hiding the alien in the.
Yeah, literally just hiding the secret, and the kid actors were cast so well that it defined the whole show. I felt like, we're kind of giving the overview review of the show versus nitty gritty like questions and answers, but it just was a really enjoyable thing. I recommended it to my parents, and they were like, it was like 4 episodes one night, 4 episodes the next night.
That's
they
what
were
I did.
done.
I did the whole series in 2 nights with my wife.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we made a rule. Like, see, maybe that's something else to say, too. People binge differently. I make a rule. Like, I want to enjoy it over a period of nights and look forward to it. So we were like, as much as we wanted to, we're like 2 episode max. So at least we got 4 full nights of, and I think it took us like 5 nights to get through it. But not you.
No.
You went to the wall.
Yeah, we were like, okay, kids, you got to go to bed immediately. It's 5. Go to bed.
So, any other thoughts on the specifics of the thing? Were you happy with how it resolved?
I was very, very happy. And just to talk to the point of the answers, I thought that the way that they handled the answers was fantastic, where it wasn't I don't feel like they gave the ridiculous monologue of the two characters like, hey, we have figured out exactly what is going on. They gave you enough that there's still
put the pieces
there's
together.
still a hint of mystery of exactly what's going on, but there's enough for you to really formulate your own thoughts on like the other dimension, the upside down world, who is this creature.
I like that the show did not take cheap opportunities to keep mystery in place.
Yes.
An example of that would be
They kept it moving.
the sheriff that, was pursuing things.
Who was awesome.
He was
He's
awesome.
my favorite character.
He was great. But other shows would have just, as soon as he discovered it and he went and broke in, they would have killed him off. He never would have been able to go and communicate with the mom and get together as whenever people know things in shows, it's like they never get to come together because
Right.
they want to keep you in hanging for like 5 episodes of like, oh, I wish he could talk to him. Like, you got the payoff and that was the camaraderie. So even the adults had camaraderie with the kids.
I have no idea how that sheriff lived.
No.
I mean, he did some stuff. It's like everyone else, they barely know anything. They're dead in a second. They're like,
I'll say that
there was one person that really didn't end up in good shape.
11.
No, that would be the friend of Nancy.
Oh,
Friend
she
of Nancy.
ended up in bad
yeah.
shape, you mean?
Yeah, I'm just saying she ended up dead.
Yeah, it didn't go well for her.
Well, I'm just saying I felt bad for Nancy. I mean, like, it resolved pretty well for everybody
Barb.
else.
Her name was
Barb.
Barb, yeah.
It's the
the names.
The one, yeah, the names are great.
John Ralphio. John Ralphio was the friend of was Nancy's boyfriend. John Ralphio
Oh,
from
yes.
from
that
Parks
was-
and Rec.
Oh, my goodness.
Not the actor, but the hairstyle.
The ending does have a couple cliffhangers.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get your take on what was the agreement that the sheriff made with the government's the government group, because you see they allude to a decision and an agreement has been made. You think you know what it is, but then you get to the end of the show and he's at the hospital checking on the kid, and then the CIA or whatever, the operatives show up. They say, we got to go, and then he gets in the car. But then I thought, I'm like, well, apparently they're gonna axe the sheriff, but then they move forward and he's still alive, but you don't know what transpired.
Yeah, and I don't know either. I think it has to revolve around preservation of that town and the safety of that town, and something was arranged with him that, okay, you're not going to go out and disclose all this information, and we're going to give you the opportunity to help whoever he's helping out there in the woods.
Maybe they forgot to have him sign the NDA. And they had to bring him back for that.
He's unkillable. That's what we figured
Yeah,
out.
he's definitely unkillable. So what's season 2?
Oh, man.
Is there a season 2?
Strangery things.
There's got to be this thing is blown up for
Yeah,
Netflix.
there will be.
There has to be a season 2.
That's a hard thing to write.
Hey, they at least wrote the last episode, so there could be one.
I really hope, though, that it's I mean, maybe you continue with the Upside Down world, but I want it to be a completely segmented.
You want to go like X-Files, like a side?
Yes, I want it's same
Like
universe.
new cast?
Yes.
Oh,
I
all right.
want same universe, but I want a different.
Oh, really?
Different set of Stranger Things.
I can get
I wouldn't
behind
mind
that.
that. So, all right, let us know what you thought of the show. Theories about the ending.
Theories about season 2.
Yeah. All right, take care.
And if you're young, did you gravitate toward the show immediately? Let us know. Thank you.